So hello everyone, my name is Rose Simpson. I'm a librarian at the New Haven Free Public Library, and welcome to our Meatless Monday series. This is hosted by our creative in residence, Nadine Nelson, who is going to be showing us all about meatless cooking. So would you like to introduce yourself,
Actually,
Nadine?
yes. So I'm Nadine Nelson. As Rose said, I'm the they say chef in residence, but I'm the creative in residence, and food is one of my mediums. I'm interdisciplinary or multidisciplinary artist, and I specialize in food and social sculpture, which is kind of bringing people together in different scenarios around food to interact, to have different experiences. So today I'm just doing a straight ahead cooking class. I'm a trained educator, but I specialize also in plant-based food. I grew up Seventh-day Adventist. And if you came to the first Meatless Monday class, we talked about people in different areas of the world that eat plant-based. So we talked about Israel, we talked about Jamaica and Rastafarianism, we talked about India, and a couple other places. And so today we're going to talk about the pantry, and then the next time, the March, the last Monday in we're going to talk about the blue zones, the people who live to over 100. Most of them eat a plant-based diet, and so we'll be doing recipes and flavors from there. So, and then the next 3 months after that, we'll be looking at people in New Haven who are vegan titans of food. Um, so today we're talking with the pantry, and I'm going to get some stuff cooking. I prepped the majority of stuff so we can hopefully do 5 recipes. And so while the soup is being made, I will talk about pantry items as I go along. And then at some point, I probably will have time to sit down and show you a whole bunch that I brought. You can always ask questions. Rose, I think, sent you the recipes, and she can probably put in the chat what I'm working from. I
Yep,
cook
just
without.
pulling up the link now. So for anyone who registered ahead of time, I already emailed it to you, and I'm posting the link in the chat now if you just joined now.
Right. And I cook without recipes. So what I want people to do is just see what I'm doing because I have 1 hour, right? So I prepped everything pretty much beforehand. I have an hour and 15 minutes. So I am an experiential teacher. I believe that you learn by doing, and that it's really important for people to understand that most good cooks do not cook with a recipe. Right? So you have some recipes. I'm going to be totally deviating from that and just cooking my style, which I'm a freestyle cook. So that's what I'm going to be doing. I do the recipes for you because I know that people feel more comfortable with that. But I also don't want you to be in your house that I'm making this red lentil soup. Red lentil soup, you can have tomatoes. It cannot have tomatoes if you don't have any tomatoes. It can have coconut milk. You cannot have coconut milk. I have coconut cream. Coconut cream for those who are preppers and don't have a lot of room for your cans because they're really heavy. This is great to have because you can cut off a little chunk and then put it in some hot water and have some coconut milk to use for whatever you want, for chia seed pudding, for your chai, for soup or a curry. So I want you to be able to get those techniques and methods. So when you are in the kitchen, the reason why you have a pantry, if you have a really great pantry, when you think that you have nothing to eat, if you have like quinoa or bulgur or farro or brown rice, for instance, any of those things you can make risotto. You don't have to make risotto only out of a barley rice. So you can, have powdered milk or cream, or evaporated milk. You can use, like I am today, oat milk. So these are the techniques and things I want you to think about, and think about improvisation, and think about that, your grandmother or someone who's a great cook that they're not cooking with recipes. So I want you to release that freedom for me. And if you're going to ask me questions about things going together, but the measurements and stuff like that, I already gave you the recipes and I'm not following that. I'm just doing what I want to do with the ingredients that I have. And I want you to be able to enjoy that and then see that and apply that at home. That's a lot better than showing you recipes that you can just go online and be able to do yourself. All right, so as I said, as I'm going along, I mentioned a whole bunch of pantry ingredients. You have a list that has a whole bunch of pantry ingredients. You can ask me questions about pantry ingredients, and I will talk to you about like my background and like my inspiration, all that kind of stuff, as we are cooking. So, so I don't know if you want to bring the computer right over here now.
We've got one comment in the chat from Julia. I've really been using oat milk a lot.
Yeah, I love oat milk, Julia. Hi, Julia. I love oat milk because it's like really creamy. It's the creamiest, I feel like, plant-based milk. And the only thing is that it does have carbs because it's oats, but it's not high in calorie, and it is creamy, and it's a nice neutral flavor to be able to make, like, we're gonna make a fettuccine Alfredo with cauliflower and parsnips. So that's a great milk to be able to use because it doesn't have a lot of flavor, and so it mimics cream. Right, so I just put a little bit of olive oil in here. Whatever you want to do, you can put ghee, butter, whatever your choice of fat is, you can choose to do. I have avocado oil in here. I'm gonna put onions. I'm gonna get a nice little saute on this. And so when you're using really basic ingredients, because your pantry are things that you're supposed to have on hand, like different flours. So you can have obviously white flour, you can have brown, wheat flour, but then you can get real fancy and have quinoa flour if you're gluten free, or you can have bee sunflower, which is chickpea flour, almond flour, if you bake. And those are all things that you can do different things with. And so I have that list, and a lot of people, when they look at a pantry list, they see like, oh, it's really daunting. And I say, I've lived in Boston and New York, and I've had a really small kitchen, and a lot of these condiments and stuff can be in your fridge, they can be in your cupboards, and they don't take that much space. And in regard to cost, you can just add to your pantry every week, like get quinoa one week, get brown rice one week, and these things last a long time.
Nadine, your audio seems to be going in and out a little bit.
Okay. I also put in I'm gonna put the microphone in. I don't have a microphone. I'm gonna put some carrots in there. Oh, so I'm doing the red lentil soup. So I like red lentils because they don't take a long time to cook. So what I'm trying to show you is that we can make the soup in less than an hour with whole beans. So, and the same technique you can use with canned beans. So you can do the same thing with black beans. You could do it with white beans. I wouldn't use the coconut milk that we're going to use. Rose, can you hear me?
Yeah, it sounded like it was going in and out a little bit again, but I can mostly hear you.
Wait, do you want to put the hotspot in?
Yeah, make sure everything's plugged in correctly. That's the first thing to check.
Then I have celery. So we want to really get. I hear your cat, Rose.
Yeah, he's being fussy.
A nice sear and caramelization on, because when you're using modest ingredients, you want to coax out as much flavor as you want, as you can. So you get that from browning and caramelization. You can do that either from sauteing, and sauteing needs to jump, so you want to have the heat high, or you can get that from if you have vegetables, like I have green beans, you can roast green beans. Roasting is 75, 375 degrees or above. Green beans, cauliflower, carrots, broccoli, especially in the winter when you want the stove on, to warm up the house. It's great to roast vegetables, and it brings out the natural sweetness in your vegetables, and adds flavor but not added fat or calories. So here are great. Our red lentils, and
Kind of looks like an orange powder from here.
yeah, they're very small, so they don't take long. They take like, depending on how they are, the beans, they cook based on, yeah, based on how old they are. So they could take 25 minutes to cook, or they could take 45 minutes. But regular brown lentils can take 45 minutes to an hour or more, and green lentils can take a longer time. So online, there's charts that tell you how long different beans cook from scratch. And if you're watching, your budget, you want to save money, then you buy beans like this, raw or dried. Go to an ethnic market in New Haven. A place that you can get a lot of great beans are on the Post Road in the Middle Eastern or Indian markets. I have curry, and so this is a Middle Eastern curry. Um, you can use whatever curry you want. So I'm putting it in the pot, toast it a little, so it releases the flavor and fragrance. Once again, like when you're using modest ingredients, the most expensive thing would be this curry. Then to be able to, I'm gonna put some of the.
I've got someone who's got a hand raised, so I turned on speaking for you if you'd like to talk. If anyone else wants to talk, ask Nadine a question, make a comment, you can raise your hand and I'll turn speaking on for you as well.
Yeah, if you have a question, please ask me. I'm getting water, and then I'm going to use called Better Than Bouillon. It's really good especially for the vegan broth. You can always make your own broth. Like when you peel your onions, your carrots, your scraps like that, you can put them. Have a freezer bag in your fridge, and you can put your scraps in there. And once a week or twice a month, you can make stock. I didn't put up the garlic, so I'm gonna put some garlic in there.
Nadine, I can't really hear you when you're turned away from the camera.
All right. You can't hear it from here?
Yeah, I don't think the microphone's working.
I forgot to put garlic in there, so I would have wanted to release the flavor with it. Is that better?
Yeah, I think it's working from the mic now. It's coming out clearer.
All right, good. So I would have wanted to release the aromatics, the garlic with the aromatics, which is like the onion, the carrots, the celery, but I forgot. So I try, and it's all right. That's normal life. Can you pass me the Better Than Bouillon over there? It's short. Yeah, that one. There's another one. Here. And then so can you get me some more water so I can add to this, please?
warm water.
You are doing great.
Thanks, Sally. So here's another one, not chicken. I don't get paid by these people, but it's good to have like good stock. And sometimes not all stocks are made equal, especially when it's like plant-based. So these are good and they're at better stores. You can always find the better than bullion in most supermarkets.
I believe the better than bouillon is kind of like a paste rather than the like dry
Yeah,
blocks that bouillon usually is.
yeah, exactly. I'm just showing people, these are the things that in your pantry that you can have. Because the better than bullion, you have to refrigerate. So it's good to have, but you might not always have refrigeration. So it's also good to have the dried bouillon if you want to. You can also for different. I don't know if you guys know. Some people don't like the term. It aggravates them. Excuse me. Can you put this over there? Thank you. Umami. So a kind of mushroomy, earthy flavor. So this is boiling, and then I'm going to move this over here so then I can do the pasta sauce.
Nadine, could you turn the camera a little more towards you? You're kind of on the edge. There you go.
Okay. So I'm going to move this on the other burner. Okay. Uh, yes, I'm not sponsored, so I'm making when I make recommendations. Oh, Soleil. Um, I'm making them because they're good.
I've got
They're
another
what
comment. I like mushroom flavored bouillon, Italian stores, and low salt.
right, and then also you can, since I'm talking to you about different ingredients as I go along. You can use porcinis. Can you pass me those mushrooms over here? So you can get dried porcinis. You can put them in if you have a coffee grinder or food processor. You can put dried mushrooms. You can make your own powder to add to broth or different sauces. Or you have shiitake mushrooms. You can do the same thing. You can add salt. So you can have mushroom salt. So it just adds like nice flavor. Um, right. So I'm going to turn this down a little bit. So I'm going to add a little bit of olive oil for real this time. And so I'm doing this recipe is a little bit different than is in um, the packet. So oftentimes when I make Alfredo or macaroni and cheese for that matter, because it's kind of like it can be one notish. I'm going to turn this down a little bit. I can saute some onions and do it to the point where they fall apart, and um, they just add a back flavor to the sauce. And I'm gonna put garlic in there too. And then I'm gonna mix that together with parsnips. Do people know what parsnips are? Parsnips are really underrated. I got the majority of the food that I had was already in my house, but I wanted to make this Alfredo because I know a lot of people like Alfredo. I know not everyone, and I'll ask like who's vegan, who's not vegan, or plant based. I know a lot of people who come to these classes, um, they're trying this out for the first time, and so I like to show people the Alfredo recipe because it's really good, and everyone likes Alfredo. And it doesn't use any fake cheese or anything like that. I try when I'm cooking plant based to use as much whole food as possible. I do eat tofu or seitan and other things, but I really keep it to a minimum, just like I would like, any kind of processed non-meat product. So I am not plant based or wholly, but as I said, I did grow up Seventh-day Adventist and around a lot of people that are plant based. So my whole life, I've seen people making their own protein sources, growing their own food, um, and making vegan food taste really good. And I like to show people how to do that because we need to eat more vegetables and eat healthier. And anything I could do to facilitate that, I like to do. I say I bring life to events, So when I go to places like family gatherings, I bring the vegetables and the side dishes. And I love the side dishes. So this is just gonna saute. I'm gonna put it on low because I don't really want it to get too much color. I want it to kind of melt down. So when I add it to the sauce, like it doesn't have any texture, and you just feel like it has a nice flavor that it's adding to the sauce.
Nadine, is the overhead camera supposed to be off?
It's off? Oh.
Yeah, it's off right now.
Okay, so can you turn this on? Thank you. Sorry. Yeah. Why don't you go bring it over there and then do that and soak this? Okay. Sorry.
He's always involved
Yeah,
with
it's really
balancing
not
the
that
tech.
interesting. Yeah, it's really not that interesting. Things are just boiling.
Mhm.
What? Oh, the temperature got too hot on the phone, so
All right.
you have to let it cool off for a second. It's the first time it's ever happened.
Suppose it's inevitable if it's hovering over a stove for a while.
Yeah. Yeah. So, all right. So I have those things going. I have the soup going. So it's just boiling. It's coming together. Oh, I'm going to put some tomatoes in there. You don't have to put tomatoes. I want to put tomatoes because I had fire roasted tomatoes, and fire roasted tomatoes just give another smoky kind of dimension, but it's curry. Some people put tomato in their curry, some people don't. I'm Jamaican, and traditionally you wouldn't put tomatoes in your curry, but then, curry, other curries, you do. So I am mixing it up. Yes, roasted tomatoes are really great. I love them. Here's some. Not to endorse again, but they're very inexpensive. Aldi has fire roasted tomatoes, regular tomatoes, very inexpensive. All right, so those are two dishes I'm making right there. And then I'm going to sit down. And while I'm sitting down, I'm going to make a soba noodle salad and a dressing. And we'll end with dessert. But I will go over different things that you can use with different ingredients after I finish making the soba noodle salad. So, can you see if there's another cutting board in there, please? Is there? There's a cutting board somewhere though. So while she's trying to find a cutting board, I'll go over some of the ingredients that I have. So I was born in Toronto, Canada, and which is called the most multicultural city in the world. They have the most languages spoken in one place, and every Friday or on the weekends, we go to different neighborhoods and ethnic enclaves to go eat. But then we'd also go and buy food. And so it has the biggest Chinatown in North America. So I love going to Chinatowns. I love going to markets. And, if you're into Asian cuisine or you like those type of vegetables, for instance, or even here in New Haven, or if you go to Boston or you go to New York, a lot of Asian markets, they have ingredients from other cultures. So in New Haven, the Asian market, and I always forget the name, across from Edge of the Woods, they have
that one's Shanghai Market, I think.
Yeah, Shanghai Market. They have food from the Caribbean. So if you're Jamaican, they have they have bami, for instance. That's so hard to get. They have breadfruit. They have canned ackee. Motherland Market, which is, thank you, sweetheart. That's good. Thank you. And then pass me the knife over there, sweetie. Thanks. Motherland Market on Dixwell Avenue. They have a lot of Caribbean ingredients for a lot of beans. And like if you're into fonio, which is a superfood like quinoa, they have those type of things there. So, going to ethnic markets, they help to, if you're buying in bulk, like, you go to an Indian market, they're going to have big bags of basmati rice for $10, for instance, but you can get brown basmati rice, which is really good if you're trying to work on your diabetes and keep your eat high fiber, but low sugar. Then you can buy big bags of those type of things there. Not to mention like spices, um, herbs. Yes. Yes, and I think that Rose will send you the recipes. Thanks for coming.
Yeah, if you hadn't pre-registered, I will send it out afterward.
All right. So, things that I get at the Asian store are like, sweet chili sauce. So this is like $2 where, or a big bottle is like $4. And a small bottle like this in the regular store would be like $4 or $6, like, so these are things that I use them all the time. This is a small bottle because I have one that when I travel, because I'm doing all these different classes. So I have a big bottle at home and then I have the small bottle for when I travel. I have Korean hot pepper paste. I love it. If you like bibimbap, it's really great to make dressings. There is seitan. Everyone kind of knows tofu. And seitan is wheat protein. And if you can eat this, it can taste like meat and really good. As I said, these kind of things are just as processed as other things, so I don't eat them on a regular basis, but they are tasty. We have tahini for like hummus, makes really good dressings, really good sauces. The fonio that we're talking about, it kind of looks like really, really, really small couscous, but it is a super grain and it's really prevalent in Senegal. And they're really trying to push it so more people buy it. And it instead of what happened in Bolivia and places like in Latin America, where it became exorbitant for people to be able to buy down there, they're trying to use it to be economic development for people. So here are dates. And so for dessert, I don't even know if I'm gonna do it, but we're just gonna have dates and peanut butter, really easy dessert. Dates are really good because in plant-based food, especially if you're trying to do raw desserts or desserts, people use them for sweetness and also for texture, like so you can make really good brownies and stuff like that. So I've like coleslaw for people who don't want to pre-chop up stuff. You can buy this. It's $1 a bag. I have red cabbage that was from Lax workshop I did last week. I'm gonna put that in the soba noodle salad. We have spinach.
We have a comment on Facebook. Julia says, "Ooh, dates and peanut butter. I'm going to try this."
Yeah, it's so easy. It's one of my go-to snacks. Like when you want something and you want to be really healthy, but you want to like bring up your energy. But dates, they even out your sugar. So they're really great for putting in smoothies, chia seed pudding, but a lot of like vegan desserts people use them in. So it's like they're really good to have. If you buy them, they can be expensive, but if you have a Middle Eastern market near you, they're really cheap. You can get big that box for like $5 at the Middle Eastern market. So here is tri-colored quinoa. You can do salads, you can put soups, you can do stir fries. A lot of people don't do stir fries with quinoa. Cook the quinoa, drain it, and then do a stir fry. And it's great because it takes in all the flavor of any type of sauce that you're making. So red curry paste, you see this big thing? I think it's like $2, maybe $4 at most. And it lasts, like you just put it in the refrigerator. But it's great for soup, for stir fries, for fried rice, for peanut sauce. We have coconut milk. We have peanut butter. We have sesame oil. I didn't bring any. I love sea vegetables, and I forgot to bring seaweed. Seaweed. We have rose petals. You know, like you can have roses, sorrel, hibiscus, dried stuff to make teas, to make syrups for desserts. And I have a whole bunch of different spices too. I have miso paste. It's really good for, you can put on tofu, you can put on vegetables. Obviously miso soup. Soba noodles that I've already cooked. But here are them dry. These are buckwheat noodles.
It's a little hard to tell from the video because it's the color is slightly washed out, but they're sort of a dusty brown color, and they taste nutty. They're tasty.
Right, exactly. And so you could eat them, you can do them again in a stir fry to have a healthier noodle than a regular flour noodle. You can have, these are glass noodles that are made with sweet potatoes that, you know, Koreans usually make in a stir fry, japchae, or a salad. So those are like I tried to bring the things that people wouldn't normally know about that are things that I use on a regular rotation. Here's nutritional yeast. If you want to make, you know, your vegan macaroni and cheese, the Alfredo, a salad dressing, it's kind of, it tastes kind of cheesy, but obviously it's a vegan. You know, I did buy, and I don't usually do this because I didn't know if it was, I can't find them. I bought cheese, bought some vegan cheese. Some shreds because I want to see, it was on sale. I want to see if they would be, it was a good brand. Here it is. Go veggie, plant-based. So I tend to, with my kind of plant-based cooking, I tend to keep with things that are going to taste good and I don't have to manipulate. So like a vegan banana bread is great vegan. Like my vegan banana bread, Soleil. Can you see if the camera's working for me, please? Vegan, I can make a vegan banana bread and no one would be able to tell that it was vegan. And so that's the stuff that I like to do because then you have a level of success, you know, like I don't want to make a pizza myself. You can do, anyone can do whatever they want. I'm just saying like what my style of cooking is that I prefer, and I'm not vegan, so I prefer to eat pizza and just eat pizza. Do you know, if I'm gonna make a cheese, I prefer to make my own nut baked cheese, like with cashew or almond, and do that than to buy cheese because I'm not one to buy a whole lot of processed food just in general. I just make most of my own things myself. So so I tend to have recipes where instead of like using a fake cheese for the Alfredo, we're gonna make a simulated cheese using cauliflower and parsnips. So parsnips are New England's underrated vegetable. I love parsnips. Parsnips are like, they're a sister to carrots. So like they look like a white carrot and
They're rather sweet.
yeah, they're rather sweet. And people don't eat them. People need to make sure that you buy them so they have them at the supermarket because sometimes it can be so hard to be able to find because a lot of people don't use them. But if you like, you know, shepherd's pie or, you know, New England things like clam chowder, they just add like another dimension to things. It's just like having a carrot.
Yeah, anywhere
So
you use carrots, you can probably use a parsnip.
yeah, you just don't want to use too many of them if you don't want your stuff sweet. That would be the only thing. So I'm gonna switch containers for, oh, you know what I can just do? I can do it in the I can just do it in here. Right. I'm using a hand mixer. Does anyone use oat milk, or what kind of plant-based milks do people use? And if people want to say if they're vegan or vegetarian or not, that would be great. I'm just getting the oat milk.
And if anyone would like to speak like via audio, just raise your hand and I can turn audio on for you. Otherwise, you can type in the chat and I'll read it out. If you're watching on Facebook, I'm watching the chat there as well.
So I am just putting in 1.5 cups of milk. You have the recipe there. So I did keep those around. I'm trying to keep to around those measurements. And then I need the yeast. It's around 1/2 cup of nutritional yeast. Can you see what it looks like?
A little bit.
You know, I can never, I'm like, yay.
Yeah, there we go.
There's just like flakes. But if you like to make a vegan Caesar salad, you use that with a little bit of mustard, olive oil. It's really good. You can make a Caesar salad with that, or you can make a Caesar salad with like cashews, where you soak cashews and then blend them with the water, but you have to soak them and then leave them for a while. You can leave them overnight. That's a nice way to make a sense of creaminess, but then some people don't want to eat nuts, or they're allergic to nuts. Excuse me.
Oh, we got a question. What make is your immersion blender?
Oh, it's Cuisinart. Cuisinart lasts a long time. My first Cuisinart food processor lasted probably 15 years.
Wow.
I had other ones, but the one that I used, the first one I ever got that my mom gave me, lasted around 15 years. So I'm just trying to smooth it out. So I just put some more milk in there. So this technique, I don't know if people know Stone Barnes or Dan Barber, but Dan Barber, for many years, I don't know about now, but he's like, well, he's still considered like one of the best chefs in America. And they have a really beautiful campus in Tarrytown on Rockefeller land. And so it's a really beautiful restaurant, but they have like a farm, they have goats. It's like a whole little ecosystem. So they have a conference called the Young Farmers Conference for people who haven't farmed. So the soup is done. Oh, soup is done. Did someone ask a question?
Yes, let's see. Cynthia says, I still have my first Cuisinart. My mother gave it to me in about 1982. Then she thought to buy me a replacement mixing bowl, so I'm still using it at least once a week.
Yeah, they are really great machines. And I think that it's great because appliances, whether like stoves or any, like the older they are, the longer they last. A lot of these new things, they don't last a long time. So I think that
obsolescence. They're designed to wear out faster.
Yeah, exactly. So it's amazing that, Cuisinart they're appliances, they last a long time. All right, so I'm gonna taste this to see like if it needs, what kind of seasonings it needs. So it needs a little garlic powder. I'm gonna add some more nutritional yeast. It needs a little bit more umami. And I will probably also add, what is it? I will add some of the bouillon. See that? And a little bit of water. Because I just want to thin it out a little bit. And then I just have, I forget what shape this is called. I have the shape of pasta. This is one of my favorite shapes. And it's hard to find.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
I can't quite see what that one is. Is it kind of a flat?
Yeah, it's flat and it has a little seam in the middle. So I'm gonna turn this up so this can get a little, ooh, shoot. So I'm just, turning this on. So it heats up a little bit and emulsifies a little bit more like Alfredo. So the same technique with the parsnips they used for risotto, and they made risotto out of collard green stems. They cut them really small. And then it tastes really good, you guys. I'm sorry that you can't taste it. All it needs is a little bit of salt. That's it. If you wanted to, you could. So I'm gonna just move that. And then we'll just put it together afterwards. I'm not gonna put it together now. I'm gonna have it on the side so people can have their pasta however they want to. So I just wanted you to see the soup. I would add just a little bit more water just to liquefy it a little bit more, and that's it. I didn't put any more seasoning. I just put the salt of the bouillon, and it was just probably 1 teaspoon in there. The tomatoes, the fire roasted tomatoes. Oh, so I would just finish it off with spinach, and I would just probably put the spinach at the bottom of this baby spinach of my bowl, and then put it on top, because if you put all the spinach in there, I don't like my vegetables overcooked. And so obviously this is a lot and you're not going to drink it in one sitting. And I wouldn't want it to heat up and have my spinach that mushy. So I would just put this at the end of the bowl. If I was feeding it to everyone now, then I put a bunch of handfuls in there, stir it in, and then that would be done. As I said, you can, if you want to, you can put red curry in here. If you have Jamaican curry, you can put in there. If you have regular curry, if you have Indian curry, there's all different types of curries. You can season it the way that you want to. You can finish it off if you wanted to with some scallions. Also, some people might put yogurt to finish it in a cup they wanted to. You can put a sprinkle of some dried spices like allspice, or if you want that kind of fragrant taste to it. So just want you to set, it's a very blank slate. Red split peas or lentils, they take no time whatsoever to cook, so you can make a soup that now that it's winter in many different ways. So that's what I want to showcase for you. All right, so now I'm going to make the soba bean salad, soba salad. So here is soba, it's cooked. And I have to wash it off though, because it's all clumped together. So I'm gonna wash it off, and then I will come back. I'm just gonna take my microphone off. So see how it's all separated now?
Got another question. Do red lentils lose their color from cooking?
Well, they're different. The color of them. And then...
So are they, is the soup, are the lentils in the soup still orange?
So I want you to discern for yourself.
Kind of hard to tell if it's from the lentils or from the other stuff you put in there, like the tomatoes.
Well, I mean, it has a red, it has a orange hue to it. I think it's magnified by the tomatoes, but also, like, what I want people to understand, it doesn't really matter, because you might buy by accident yellow split peas, which take a lot longer, you know, but you can do the same method. It's just any lentil that I showed you, that I said, you could do the same thing with it. It's just gonna take a longer time, you know? All right. So I have the soba salad. What am I gonna do? I'm gonna put different things in it. So in the two recipes, there's one that I think has no vegetables in it. There's one that has snow peas, bok choy, and maybe bean sprouts, maybe. I don't have any of that, and that's fine. I don't need that. I'm just gonna do my own thing.
So what do we got in there so far?
So we just have celery. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna chop up some, oh, I don't have my thing. I'm gonna chop up some scallion. I'm gonna chop up some small cucumber. I'm gonna do some carrots. So now I'm just gonna do stuff by color. I'm gonna show you, if we have enough time, you probably do. I'll make a slaw too, or maybe, you know what, I'm just gonna combine the slaw actually. I'm gonna put cabbage and slaw in the soba noodle salad. So, but this is like, I try and show people blank canvases. Like, so for the pasta, you know how you can bulk it up. I brought like zucchini, for instance. You can saute some zucchini. It can be, you know, Alfredo. primavera, you know, and so you can use whatever vegetables that you have. You know, winter vegetables, what are they? Cauliflower, you can do cabbage, you can do um, eggplant, you can do whatever you want, you know, so whatever you have, that's what you can put in your pasta if you want to bulk it up and make it have a little bit more life. Um, but then also understand that the sauce was made with vegetables too. But I would say that you probably want to be able to have more, you know, like our plates are supposed to have half a plate of vegetables, you know, and then fiber, and then maybe some protein. So if people are into this and they don't know a lot about this, Old Ways is a really great organization, oldways.org, that has the vegetarian um, heritage diet pyramid, and it shows you how they have a Mediterranean one, they have an African one, they have an Asian one, but they show you traditionally how people ate around the world and how so much of what people eat is plant-based. So instead, I don't have snow peas, so I'm just going to use green beans that I just blanched. So I'm just going to cut them a little bit on the diagonal. I washed them, but I boiled them with the tops because I just wanted to make sure all my mise en place was basically done. Because if it's not done before I start class, then I'm doing that and I can't do as many dishes. And I want to show you more dishes so you can see that in less than an hour that I did 4 dishes. So I'm gonna put some green beans. I'll probably put some carrots. I'll put some purple cabbage for some color. I love purple cabbage. That's a winter vegetable. Ways in which you can use cabbage, because on that list, for instance, that's on your pantry list for things that you can have in your larder as vegetables. And cabbage is great because you can grill cabbage, you can, you know, boil it, you can stuff it, you can put it in salads, you can put it in stir fries. So it's one of those hearty vegetables that it's not going to spoil if you put it, if it's stored properly. It is high in nutrients, really great. It's an carcinogen. Um, and it's so versatile. Every culture eats cabbage pretty much. So you can season it up in different ways. And so that will go into my whole notion of I have a recipe there. It has a diagram of how you make different dressings. And you know, a lot of these recipes, this is soba, so it's Asian, you know, but it's really a great thing to make stir fries, or you know, you can do in Japan they do a curry ground beef, and they put it on top, and you can put it on top with, you know, cook it with cabbage and then put it on top. So these things in your pantry, depending on what you have, are very versatile. So I'm just trying to have people think outside the box and think less like a classic, you know, oh, I have to do this, I have to do that. Like, you're making a dressing, you're going to see me make it with what I have. And I do have peanut butter here. I'm not going to do it with peanut butter. I'm going to do more, probably, I don't know, if I brought, if there is, because I did not bring, I think it's over there. I did not bring soy sauce. So that will depend on what kind of sauce I make. I was looking in the coconut can, milk can, to see if there's any little bit of coconut milk. But a dressing is an acid, it is an oil, it can have an allium. An allium is onions, garlic, scallions, stuff like that. You can use that to emulsify it and make it thick. Um, you know, acids are vinegar, of course, that's traditional. But then an acid can be orange juice, an acid can be lime juice, it can be pineapple juice, it can be so many different things. So that's where, if you have a good pantry, you see, okay, what am I going to make my dressing today? And I want to show people that you can make your own dressing and have it taste good, but then also, most importantly, have it be a lot cheaper, and then know what is going into your ingredients. Because that's why I had mushrooms. Like, for instance, for the pasta sauce, I wanted to saute some mushrooms, but I didn't. So I would saute some mushrooms. Maybe I have zucchini there, and then mix all the pasta sauce together, and that makes a nice, robust, kind of full meal with a salad.
Could you turn the overhead camera so we can see what you're doing a little better?
Okay, can you see it now?
Back it up a little.
Now?
That's better.
Okay. So you guys ask me questions. What's your favorite pantry items? Or what's a pantry item that you don't know how to use it? You know, do people use like black rice? Black rice is great. It's, obviously the more color a food has, the more nutrients usually in general it has. So when you're going plant-based, you want to make sure that you have enough nutrients. And so the more colorful your diet can be, and that makes for anyone who's not plant-based too, the more colorful your diet can be, like with the red cabbage and eggplants and, black beans. And, there's things that are usually, if something has color in it, it's usually high in fiber, and it's packed with antioxidants and vitamins and stuff. So trying to, make your diet colorful, that's what I try and show people when they're trying to go vegan and vegetarian. Right. So I'm going to put some carrots in there, some chopped up carrots. I'll put a little bit of onions, since it's red onions since it's snuck in there. I like alliums. So I have oil, I have garlic. I want some ginger. Ginger, you can use a spoon. I'm going to use the side of this fork to peel. I'll cut a piece off. If I was cooking it, I would leave the skin on. But I'm just going to take off a little bit. If I had more time, I just use that because you use less, you lose less ginger. And of course, you want to use as much of the product as you can. So no one wants to talk about any of their favorite products or their pantry items. I really like sea vegetables. I really like seaweed because it's overabundant and it's high in iodine. It's good for you. It's low in calorie, and it's plentiful.
Was
So
that the sweet chili sauce you put in?
Yeah, that's the sweet chili sauce. And I'm going to put a little bit of Korean sauce. So this is where I say, like, I do my own thing. This is Pan Asian. There's no recipe on the net that's going to have this. So the sweet chili sauce obviously is sweet. And the Korean chili sauce, gochujang, I can never pronounce it. Yeah. I have to look at it. I always have to look at things. And so if I don't see it in front of me, it's hard for me to be able to remember to pronounce it. So here, and then I'm going to find an acid that I want. So you could put rice wine vinegar. You could put regular vinegar and a little bit of water. I am going to see if there's a little bit of soy sauce.
In keeping with the Asian theme you've got going, my personal favorite way to make cabbage is okonomiyaki, which is a kind of savory Japanese pancake. You've got a batter in there, the cabbage, and then literally anything else you want. Okonomiyaki means grilled as you like it.
Did you hear me, Rose?
I did not catch that.
I made it this morning. I made it on Sunday morning.
Oh, you made okonomiyaki this past Sunday?
Yeah.
Nice.
I like that, or egg foo young, like it's a great way to start the day, eat vegetables. And yeah. I made it with cabbage, carrots.
We've got a comment from Julia. I love adding farro to my lentil and bean soups. I've been cooking more vegan food. I also love harissa. Oh, and sambal. I can't wait to garden and have a bunch of greens from my yard. Thanks for the handout too. Being able to learn about more vegan foods has helped me change my diet.
Oh, good. And Julia's Italian. Her family still lives in Italy. And the next class, we're going to be talking about, populations that are around the world that live to over 100. And so you have Sardinia, you have Greece, but the Mediterranean diet in general, that it is lauded as a great diet. I'm going to get something bigger because there's a lot of salad. Yeah, so I say like everything is great in moderation. But also these are all great dishes that you can have as side dishes or part of your regular menu, even if you eat meat, So there is a recipe in there with honey and soy, which is also a nice dressing for this. There is another one in there too. I don't know. I can't remember what that one is. So if I had time, which we only have 10 more minutes, so I prefer just to talk to you, I would have sauteed the seitan, or you could, if you want to add a little bit more bulk to it, you could saute some tofu. So I said I was going to put the red cabbage. It tastes really good.
Another comment, in Italy, we eat so many fruits, veggies, and fish, and taking naps and resting after working outside in the earth all day.
Yes. Well, that's the way to live.
All right, and a comment on Facebook. Thank you, Nadine. This has been a very enlightening class, and I love the recipes and pantry guide that Julia shared with me. This is definitely motivating as a way to enhance our diets.
Great. Thank you. If you make the recipes like Julia does, you can put a little picture on Facebook and tag me, or just send it to me via email if we're friends on Facebook, or to let me know, because I love when people use recipes. That's like the whole point, and the methods, and like that you went to Edge of the Woods, or Elm City Market or Ethnic Market, like I just keep me informed, so it makes me feel that I'm doing something useful.
If you do share a photo of what you made on Facebook, tag the library. We'd love to show it off.
I'll try and go through and remember to show you some that people have put on Facebook.
I would love to see that.
Yeah. So that's that.